Today's show is sponsored by SeatGeek, the easiest way to buy and sell tickets to sports and entertainment events. If you download the SeatGeek app and enter promo code TSS today, you'll get $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase. That's TSS for $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase. Today's show is also sponsored by Blue Apron. Let Blue Apron treat you to dinner with $30 off your first order at blueapron.com/TSS. That's blueapron.com/TSS. Hello and welcome to the Total Soccer Show. My name is Daryl Grove and I'm joined by a man who knows the offside law inside and out. It's Taylor Rockwell. Hello.
Hello, it's actually offsides.
Oh, no. 50% of people just turned off. That graph you can see now on Apple Podcast Analytics is going to dip hard.
I felt like it would cause you physical pain if I went with that one. And it seemed like you recalled a little bit.
The pain was located all over.
Mission accomplished.
All over. We'll be talking offside today. How dare you? It's our weekend review. We're going to sort of round up everything we've seen this weekend, which turned out to be quite a lot, in our traditional thumbs up, thumbs down. What's the phrase? Thumbs up, thumbs down system. I'm going to call it a system.
Yeah, I think so. It's a patented system.
I
also enjoy that you've now become the Kent of our relationship.
Who's Kent?
Kent from Veep, who daylight saving time.
The European Union actually introducing legislation to maybe change the daylight saving.
Jonah Ryan, man.
Yeah.
Ahead of his time.
Should we get to the soccer?
Sure.
All right. Where would you like to start this weekend?
The Carabao Carling Milk
Rumbelows Littlewoods Cup?
Yeah. The Carabao Cup.
Manchester City 3, Arsenal 0 at Wembley. Pep Guardiola has his first trophy.
Gary Neville had an aneurysm.
He certainly did.
Yeah.
Not actually.
No.
Not actually. So yeah, let's be clear off the bat. This was bad for Arsenal.
Yeah.
And I think Gary Neville summed it up the best.
Yes. Do you have the quote in front of you?
I do not know
paraphrase?
because you told me about it.
I mean, he basically, I think he kind of got increasingly frustrated with Arsenal, particularly with the start of the second half where it didn't seem like things were changing. And
so Gary Neville was doing the commentary for somebody?
Yes, he was doing the color commentary. And he just kind of got increasingly frustrated with the effort, or I guess lack thereof, and to the point where I think he referred to several Arsenal players specifically as kind of being a disgrace. The Arsenal team is being a disgrace.
Talked about them walking, I remember. I saw the clip.
Yeah, it was essentially just that there wasn't any urgency. There was no press, even when they were just 1-0 down. And then when they were 2-0 down, there was no urgency in trying to win the ball back, putting people under pressure, really working. A couple players, I think, continued to show a little bit of fight, Jack Wilshere amongst them, but he didn't have a very good game either.
They made the kid from A Christmas Story cry?
Yeah, exactly. I did love that. It was well produced, because when he talked about Aaron Ramsey walking, it cut to Aaron Ramsey walking, and then when he was talking about, and you have to imagine, and then it shows the kid, and he's like, and that's what it leads to, and it's a small child crying. But he was pretty frustrated by Arsenal's
So I'm thinking this was on either Sky Sports or BT Sports. Then maybe there's a great producer somewhere who was just listening to Gary Neville and was like, all right, this is my moment. Yep. Cut to camera 2. We've got Ramsey walking. Cut to camera 3. The Christmas Story kid's crying. And he's on it completely. Yeah.
He really wanted to make sure that Arsenal Fan TV exploded. And I think he was jumped on.
I haven't seen it, but I heard that Arsenal Fan TV did not disappoint. That's a headline that I saw.
Well, it wasn't as much. I think Arsenal Fan TV is really beautiful when it's sort of has like that righteous indignation. When it's just sort of resigned anger, that's more what it was in this one. And so it was just a bit more what you'd expect. It was just more people being very frustrated with Arsenal, specifically with Arsene Wenger, his tactics, and again, or lack thereof.
And it's a big day out, right? If you go to Wembley, it's bigger than just a regular league game because you kind of, you circle it on your calendar, you get pumped up for it, you go travel to the stadium, it's cup final day.
Yeah.
And so to be that disappointed.
And then in the lead up to it, I think Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang did an interview where he was talking about how like, oh my gosh, this locker room, there's such passion, there's fight, there's such spirit. Like,
but he was up for it, right? He's like, join in January, maybe win a trophy in February. That could have been good.
And instead got bited off the ball, didn't have as strong of a game, missed a chance in the very opening few minutes.
Well, speaking of getting bited off the ball, let's get to what actually happened on the field. I have got a thumbs, not just down, but kind of jabbed into the back of Shkodran Mustafi, who basically was at fault for the first goal, the Sergio Aguero goal. Aguero stands behind him. Bravo takes a goal kick. It goes over Mustafi's head. It's going to be a 50-50 challenge between Aguero and Mustafi. And Aguero just backs into him, gives him a bit of a nudge, then he's free to run in on goal. And Mustafi just starts complaining from the moment he's nudged, right? You got to be stronger than that.
Well, I think you've got to be stronger than that, but you've also got to be more aware. And even if there is a little bit of a shove, it's not as though Aguero shoves him and then goes running. It is he's backing into it. And I think from the referee's perspective, that was Mustafi just backing up, and that was Aguero trying to make a play on the ball. And so I think in that situation, he's always going to say, that's a 50-50 challenge.
I'm going to say thumbs up to Aguero for cheating just the right amount, right? Just giving him enough of it. It's a professional nudge. Yeah. The other thing I want to say thumbs up to Aguero on is knowing the offside law. Because he stands behind the Arsenal defence as Bravo takes the goal kick.
A lot of people do not, it seems, including maybe Arsene Wenger, who seemed to be critical of the decision in the post-match interview.
So, I couldn't tell if the Arsenal defenders at the time were protesting the collision between Aguero and Mustafi, which isn't something they should ever be able to protest because Mustafi is so much bigger than Aguero, or they were protesting the fact that Aguero was in an offside position. But why was he not offside, Taylor?
Because you can't be offside on a goal kick.
You cannot be offside on a goal kick. So if the goalkeeper kicks it straight down the middle and it lands to you and you're behind the defence, that's fine. You can do that.
You sure can.
Not enough people know that.
No one seems to know that. And I would even say that, like, if Mustafi makes a play on that ball, he further is going to put Aguero in an onside position, but it doesn't really matter because, again, it's coming from...
It'd be double onside. Onsides, as they call it.
And I really do think that a lot of people were really frustrated. I enjoyed it. I think a lot of people were really frustrated. I saw a bunch of diagrams being drawn of, like, he was miles offside. This is ridiculous. This is such a bad decision.
Where were you? You were in an art class watching this?
I was in the Twitter sphere.
Oh, the Twitter
never
sphere.
A good place to be during a game. And
it's the best. It's the best place.
Oh, goodness gracious. No, it's not. I will say, so that wasn't very good on the Arsenal's... defensive line. I will say thumbs up to the fourth official.
Sorry, I've got one more thing on that goal. It's my pet peeve, and I'm turning into an old man. But do you know why Mustafi and Koscielny were out of position for that goal?
Why is that?
Because they'd gone forward to attack an Arsenal free kick. If you rewatch it, as Bravo takes the goal kick, it's because Arsenal just sent everybody forward, including the two defenders. They're jogging back to get in position. That's why Aguero is able to be so far behind them. They're only just arriving to be with him as the goal kick is taken.
I'm very happy you said that, because when I watched the wide angle, it looks as though Claudio Bravo is holding the ball and then does what is the kind of popular thing now where you roll it out and then you kick the ball. That's how quickly he does it. To the point where I thought, maybe it wasn't a goal kick. Maybe he actually just made a save, and I went back to make sure it was a goal kick. And I was trying to figure out why he was trying to play it so fast that, like, there was almost a case to be made. Not that there is one, but, like, for a second I wondered if that ball had actually stopped rolling before he kicks it, because it has to for a set piece like that. And now it makes sense that Pep Guardiola is the type of person to watch enough footage to spot they send their center backs forward, take that goal kick as fast as you can. They're not going to be in position, and that's exactly what happened.
Exactly what happened. Don't send both your centre backs forward. I'm now convinced that you concede more goals than you score by sending your centre backs forward, unless you're West Bromwich Albion, in which case do it, because it's the only way you're ever going to score.
Well, I mean, they're still not scoring, so it seems...
A centre-back scored on a set piece this weekend for West Brom.
There you go. Well, I will say thumbs up to the fourth official. I really enjoyed this
At Wembley?
Arsene Wenger said this with a straight face, as though it was like some big slight, and I thought it was hilarious, that he was just saying, in conjunction with them not getting the offside decision right, and he felt like they made some mistakes today, Did
he specifically say something about the offside position?
I think when asked about the first goal, he referenced that, like, it should have been given, but I'm not sure if he was referring to the penalty, like, to the push or the offside. Yeah, but he was also very annoyed that there wasn't more injury time. He felt like there was a lot of time wasting, and he complained. Did you hear that? Yeah, he complained to the fourth official, "Why didn't you give us more time?" To which the official responded, "Why do you want more time?"
To score 4 goals, definitely.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we were doing so well.
Yeah.
So, Arsenal fans, if you're listening, I mean, we feel your pain, right? It does sound a lot like we've been just laughing at Arsenal. And it's a really down moment for Arsenal and for Arsenal fans. I kind of want to bring it full circle by saying, we've said it once before, but this feels like the end for Arsene Wenger. Like, I know he theoretically has another year option or another year on his contract. We've got to see him step down, or the board make a move and get rid of him this summer. I mean, it just feels that way this time.
It does, because every year there's another way to get out of it. There's like an FA Cup challenge, or there's fourth place, or there's this, or there's that. And this year, it really seems like their only option left is Europa League. And I struggle to see them competing long-term in that, especially since Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang cannot play in it.
Or finish 5th and hope that, say, Liverpool or Man City win the Champions League.
There's that.
Right? You could sneak in that way.
Or Man United or Chelsea. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. That could happen too. Although...
More on them later.
Yeah, exactly. But it does feel that way. It does feel like things have turned so much, and maybe this is just us getting into that recently, because I think a lot of Arsenal fans would say, yeah, it felt like it changed 14 times 10 years ago, and it's still ongoing. But I just don't see, especially given that kind of perceived lack of effort on the field today, it didn't feel like anybody, once they went 1-0 down or 2-0 down, really felt or believed that there was a way back.
Yep.
It didn't feel like they felt like they were prepared. It didn't seem like they really knew exactly what they were trying to do. And with that, you have to wonder then, is that lack of effort because people just kind of don't feel invested in the team right now?
It just feels like I don't say the attitude is wrong, but there's something about the culture of the team right now that is not pushing hard enough. And again, I saw the Bellerin quote this week about Alexis Sanchez wanted to win so much it was kind of a problem while he was at Arsenal.
Yeah.
To which everybody correctly responded, "What?
Yeah.
What?"
And you kind of understand what he means, that you can have that guy who's just so hell-bent on winning that he's going to shoot whenever he can or do whatever he has to do.
But teams that win titles
there's that.
Usually have that guy. I'm thinking like Roy Keane at Manchester United, for example. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
teams that win titles have that guy, and they don't have teammates that don't respond to that guy.
Those stud imprints aren't going to leave themselves on that opposition player's leg.
Final thing for this game, from me at least, thumbs up to Manchester City players for the way they celebrated Vincent Kompany's goal.
I'm right there with you. Thumbs up to Vincent Kompany of old, who reappeared against Arsenal, is what I have on here. Yeah.
So he kind of just, I think it was a Gundogan shot. He just sort of stuck his toe out and redirected it to score. I think Vincent Kompany had just won the corner as well, that came in for Gundogan. But there was definitely something about, it's not just that a centre-back scored, and sometimes teams celebrate more because it's a centre-back. There's something about the Vincent Kompany story, right? Like so many injuries. He's obviously very beloved at Manchester City. You can tell that all those players...
I think he beloves Manchester City as well.
So it goes both ways, right? So for him to have a moment at Wembley, I think was a big deal. And I love the way they crowded him.
And the emotion when he scored, because... with the other two goals, it was sort of like, yeah, we did it. Like, David Silva didn't really celebrate. Sergio Aguero celebrates a little bit, but that's the opener.
The first goal, yeah.
But yeah, Vincent Kompany celebrated that one like he had just scored a World Cup winner, and so too did his teammates. I mean, Claudio Bravo ran the length of the field to jump on him. So I thought that was really great. But the other one that stood out to me, 36th minute, he catches up to Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, who kind of has positioning on him, being Vincent Kompany, and just gives him a little bit of a 50-50 body challenge and just sends him flying off the ball. And then just turns and casually plays the ball back upfield.
It's a reminder that a healthy Vincent Kompany is one of the best centre-backs in the world.
Yes.
You just can't build your whole season around him. You might get a World Cup out of him.
You might
if you're Belgium. Yeah. Should we move on to the other big game of Sunday morning?
Sure.
It was Manchester United versus Chelsea. It finished 2-1 to Manchester United, or 2-2 if you believe that the Morata goal was actually onside. It was ruled out.
It was.
I think it was onside.
I think it probably was as well. I have a theory about why the AR gave it as offside.
Okay. I'm going to just give that a thumbs down to Chelsea's luck, essentially.
I mean, it's tough because it's very, very tight, and I think the thing that makes it even more difficult is the fact that it's essentially Lindelof's trailing leg appears to keep Morata onside, but within a half second of that ball being played, that leg is pulled forward, and he looks so very much offside.
Yep.
I think what happened is the AR is in theoretically correct position because you're supposed to be basically with that last defender, and he is. If you look at any of the stills, he is in line with Lindelof's body, like his main torso, but not that trailing leg.
Right.
And so to him, I'm in line with the guy. I can see blue on the other side. He has to be offside. But I think if you look at it again from that trailing leg, from a better angle, I think he probably is onside.
So look down, Mr. AR. Look down.
And here's where...
But it happens so fast is the other thing, right? It's hard for the ARs.
Here is where we may get some hate on this one, but I'm willing to because I genuinely think this might be true. I think if he's onside, if that flag stays down, he misses that chance.
What?
Because Alvaro Morata has been having such a slump and has been having such difficulty scoring that, bear with me, because I've had that, I'm sure you have, that like if a play is dead and then you just kind of like without care like happen to have a shot.
Your shoulders come down, the pressure's off, like do whatever you want.
Our indoor game this past week, again, not trying to compare Premier League game to our indoor game, but it was
pretty competitive.
The final whistle went and I had the ball at midfield and I like jokingly turned and like tried to chip the keeper and did. But he wasn't playing anymore, obviously, but it was just still like there's no way I would have been able to hit that shot if there like had really been like 10 seconds remaining.
That's fair.
And I do think that
it's harsh on Morata though.
Well, it's just he's just been having a rough go, and he's been having a lot of difficulty kind of getting into the rhythm. I honestly think that Lukaku has had a similar experience. He just happened to get on the score sheet in the first half. But I do wonder if Morata has that time and doesn't have that flag go up, if he overthinks it a little bit and tries to be too clever. Whereas when that flag goes up, you're just sort of like, why not? And you like have a dinked finish to the far corner.
All right, well, it finishes 2-1 Manchester United. Goals for United from Lukaku and Lingard.
Mostly Lukaku for Lingard?
Can we talk about Romelu Lukaku
we absolutely
first?
Can.
Because here's the thing that happened this weekend that I was really happy about. We met with our friend Pav, who's been on the show. Listeners may know his voice, his Huddersfield accent.
Yep.
And he showed us a video of Lukaku at Everton with Jamie Carragher. I rewatched it with sound. It was a Soccer AM video, and Lukaku shows
we watched it with sound in the first time. It was just in a crowded brewery. Yeah.
So, and he's essentially saying, this is how I receive the ball, how I position myself when I receive the ball, is I don't back into the defender and put my back flat against the centre back. I stand side on so that, one, I can like control him with my arm, and two, when I receive the ball, then I'm in charge and I can roll the defender whichever way I want to do. And Lukaku, I saw him do that a couple of times in this game. Specifically, the moment that really stands out when he does exactly that is right at the end of the game. It's like the 93rd minute. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Exactly when it is.
There's a ball. You saw it as well, right? So there's a ball played. He's played in. I think Rudiger is up on him, but he does that side on thing and just spins and sprints away from Rudiger. I think there's only some good positioning from Christensen, stops it being a goal in the end. So there's that example of what he's doing. I'll put the video in the show notes. But the thing I really want to call out is the first goal that he ends up scoring. First of all, he accidentally ends up with his back to a defender and kind of messes it up, right? The ball like flips around everywhere, and you can see why that doesn't work. But then he gets a second bite at it and goes side on to N'Golo Kante, and then he's able to control the ball, take it away from Kante, lay it into Matic. Then the move starts, and a few seconds later, Lukaku has it in the back of the net.
And credit to Alan Shearer for his analysis of this one, because his point was all of that was very impressive, but that second first touch he has, where he sets himself up and then shoots and scores, that second first touch is with his right foot, and it would be very easy to continue on in the direction he was going, like slightly to the right of the goal. If he does that, I think it was Chelsea's left back, whose name is Marcos Alonso.
Yes.
Left wing back, would have been in there to just poke that ball away
because he goes side on to Alonso, right, when he receives it.
Oh, no, I'm talking about like when he gets that wall pass back.
No, that's what I'm talking about too. He goes side on to Alonso to make sure Alonso can't get around him.
Yeah, but then with his first touch, he brings it back onto his left foot away from Alonso, so then he can shoot in the second touch in stride and puts it in perfectly.
Yeah, really good bit of play.
Absolutely.
And then, of course, it's Lukaku who has the assist for Jesse Lingard, who not long had come off the bench. Full of energy.
Yep.
How many Red Bulls did Lingard drink before he came on?
I think he just has that energy. I don't really get it. He just seems to always be...
His blood is 5% Red Bull.
A little bit, yeah, a little bit.
Other energy drinks are available.
Not for Jesse.
Did you notice the first... So, Martial walked off very slowly, which is a bit of a concern,
So did somebody in the Arsenal game. Sorry, going back that much for just 1 second. Like, I think when Aaron Ramsey was subbed off, he walked the entire way. Not like, we're trailing, you're bringing on a fresh set of legs, I better get off the field. Yes, so then there are times to walk and there are times not to walk.
Lingard came on, sprinted around, and then lunged at Willian and won the ball and popped up, and there was definitely like a life in the game that was added by Jesse Lingard.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then obviously it was a very good header, but it was excellent work from Romelu Lukaku to make that header happen.
It was. So what did he do? He sort of held it up in the corner after McTominay chipped ball.
Yeah.
And then did he do like a weird like interior step over? He like stepped over towards the inside and then just accelerated away from about three Chelsea defenders and then crossed it for Lingard, who I think had just snuck behind Christensen.
Yeah, I mean, I think basically people were so focused on Lukaku.
Is that what it was? Was Christensen looking at Lukaku thinking, he's coming?
That'll happen. I did love... seeing Paul Pogba back in, that was nice as a Man United fan. I did love in like the 84th or 5th minute, Pogba kind of gets the ball. He like takes it to the corner, and I was like, what is he doing? There's like 7 minutes left at least. And then I realized like Paul Pogba probably backs himself to try to hold the ball in the corner for 7 minutes. Like I think he probably fully believed he could pull that one off.
Well, while we're on this, I don't think it made it on TV, but I saw separate footage of it. Lingard and Pogba did the Wakanda Forever celebration. I'm certain of it. They crossed their arms and then arms to the side. So that we should have seen that coming, right? Because Black Panther is so in the culture now. It was definitely going to be a goal celebration at some point.
I don't know. They tend to do goal celebrations that are either very current or like dance crazes from like 6 years ago. So you never really know.
Like a Flashdance throwback?
I'm just saying it could have also been like a Blade Trinity like reference that we wouldn't have known. But yes, in this case, it was Black Panther.
I don't imagine that Pogba and Lingard are watching Blade Trinity.
They're missing out.
They're both too young.
Patton Oswalt's finest.
No, Ratatouille is Patton Oswalt's finest.
He's told great stories about making Blade 3 and how little Wesley Snipes wanted to be there and how the director hired bikers to intimidate him into filming.
Is that right?
Yep.
Oh, dear. Mm-hmm. Oh, dear.
Anyway, I want to say thumbs up to Willian's spy work while we're discussing this game.
Oh, attempted spy work.
It was.
Yeah.
And I love, so it's basically Eric Bailly subs on near the end of the game. United dropped to like
to defend the lead,
3/5. Yeah, and he hands a note to Nemanja Matic. Willian spots the note and kind of playfully goes to get it, and Matic starts to run away. So then Willian playfully, I think, runs after him. Not having it, Matic
was very serious about it.
He definitely was.
He was like, you are not looking at this piece of paper.
And it reminded me...
He defended that piece of paper like he defends the ball.
This is true.
Used his long legs to defend it.
But it reminded me of there was the video, I think I've talked about this before, that Man City did, where it was a couple years ago, and they were having their players watch funny YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And like seeing how long they could go without laughing, and the only one who just stayed like straight-faced the entire thing was Kolarov, who is Serbian. And I do wonder if there's just a thing of like, no, it is time to play. There will be no jokes, Willian.
Willian couldn't even help laughing after he'd failed to look at the piece of paper, right?
And I did, so that was hilarious. I also enjoyed all of the many, many memes of Matic opening it up and what that note said. My favorite one was just a cartoon bus drawn on it. And that was it.
It should have said... thumbs up, Nemanja, because Nemanja Matic was involved in all the good stuff for Manchester United. So the Lukaku goal starts with Matic breaks the lines with a really good pass from midfield. Then it comes back to him and he does it again to get it to Sanchez, who gets it into Lukaku before they set up the goal. So he's involved in that goal. The United second goal starts with Matic tracking Willian and getting a poke tackle in on Willian, and then the ball works to McTominay and they spring.
Yeah.
So loads of good stuff from Matic. But the thing I really enjoyed was him beating Morata to the ball.
Ooh, I didn't see this one.
So this is very early on in the game.
Never mind. Yes, I did. Yep.
It's a master set-piece theatre, I'm going to call it. It's a wonderfully worked set-piece by Chelsea where they take a short corner. Then Hazard, I believe, plays it short into the top of the box, and Morata breaks away from the pack of people, the big crowd of people to get open. Matic, who's marking him, manages to track him by going around the other side of the pack, because I think Morata's thinking I can lose him in the crowd, right? Matic goes around the other side of the crowd and then beats into the ball by a millimetre on the other side. Very, very good stuff from Nemanja Matic.
For a big guy, and I say that jokingly because I think a lot of times people expect him, because he does have such a big frame, that he's just going to crush you. And there were a lot of 50-50 challenges where he would just kind of like poke it away with a toe and then jump out of the way.
Yeah, he's not a knock people over kind of guy, right?
I mean, he does that too, don't get me wrong.
Oh, he's capable.
He bodied Willian off the ball a couple times. But I think he's a bit more, like gentle on the ball than you might expect for being a midfield bruiser who can definitely knock you off if he wants to.
And it looked today like Mourinho's tactic of having a midfield that is a combined, at least 20 feet tall.
Yeah.
Yeah? That adds up, right?
Yeah.
I think exactly 20 feet tall if they're all 6'4".
They're up there. Yeah.
It paid off today because that midfield was solid. McTominay, Pogba,
in a
Matic.
4-3-3. Yeah. So maybe they've figured that part of it out. I look forward to not reading any of the newspapers tomorrow because I'm assuming everybody had their ready-made Man United crumbling, Jose Mourinho's lost the locker room, Pog wants a transfer, or Antonio Conte is going to get the sack, everybody's lost faith in him, blah, 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 blah. So I'm assuming that will be the lead story tomorrow. We shall see.
I will take a look.
All right.
All right, before we round up the rest of the Premier League and then we go to the rest of the world, today's show is sponsored by SeatGeek.
Yeah, it is.
SeatGeek, buying tickets for sports and other entertainment events used to be difficult, but now there's SeatGeek. You download the app, couple of taps, you can buy or sell tickets to anything that you want to go to.
And I really, as we always talk about, I really appreciate the color system where you can figure out if the ticket that's on sale is a good value
green
or not.
Green is good, right? Green is good. Green means go.
Yep. And red means where did you get that banana at? Thanks, Mitch Hedberg. Yes. So you can look up different venues, different events, different shows, what have you, see what the best ticket is and see if it's worth the money. I would say one group who are worth the money at any price would be LCD Sound System. I looked them up. They are touring only in California. So that didn't really work. But there's like 10 shows there if you live in California.
That's weird. James Murphy also just signed for LAFC from Sheffield Wednesday. And when I Googled James Murphy, LCD Sound System came up.
I was like, really? Was that like a PR thing?
Maybe he's the same person.
It could be.
If he's just touring California because of the LAFC schedule.
Well, he's not English, though, as he says in one of their songs.
James Murphy's American.
There you go. Oh, okay,
yeah.
Okay.
But he's only 20 years old.
No, they don't really work. But they're touring with some shows with TV on the radio, whom I very much enjoy.
Yeah.
Some shows with EA, yes, I also very much enjoy them. So I would say, Daryl made a face, but I would say LCD Sound System, always wonderful.
Yeah.
And SeatGeek have them, so there you go.
Yeah. Which comeback is it now for LCD Sound System?
4?
Yeah.
I think.
They're the Henrik Larsson of...
yes.
Or he's the Henrik Larsson of music.
Credit to our friend John Tolbert. I have this like every year where I'm just like, oh yeah, they're really good. And then I listen to them for like a weekend straight.
Does John just remind you?
He brought them up on Saturday. He was like, yeah, I've been listening to them when I'm like cleaning. It gets you in the mood. I was like, it does. You're right. So, get Innocuous, man. That is the song if you got to get yourself up.
If you were to use SeatGeek to get yourself some LCD Sound System tickets, what would you get?
What do you mean?
You get a $20 rebate.
Oh, sorry. I was like, tickets to LCD Sound System? Isn't that how it works?
You failed the quiz.
I did.
Yeah. So TSS
we doing this
listeners
again?
can get $20 off their first ticket purchase. If you download the SeatGeek app, go to the settings tab, enter promo code TSS. That's TSS. Do that today and you'll get $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase to LCD Sound System or any other event.
Yes, and I apologize for not picking up on your quiz. I thank SeatGeek for sponsoring today's show, and I will just say we spent a long time at the brewery yesterday, and my head feels like we did.
Oh, really? Is this a hangover we're experiencing?
I hope not. I hope I haven't reached that point where I'm still hungover, but maybe.
I mean, it's Sunday night now.
Yeah, I know. It's not great.
Uh-oh.
It's not great. It's not ideal.
Well, let's see if the rest of the Premier League...
I did ask you to bring me ibuprofen before we started recording, so there's that.
Let's see if the rest of the Premier League action can clear your head.
All right.
What else you got?
What else do I have? I've got thumbs down to Sergio Aguero in Tottenham's 1-0 win over Crystal Palace.
Why?
Because he had 3 foul throws today, Daryl Crowe.
He did not.
He had 3.
I didn't watch this game.
Nor did I.
I've seen highlights. NBC Sports didn't put it to stream. I checked and checked. They did not put the stream up so I could rewatch the whole game.
It's frustrating. But I saw this on Twitter, I think, again, and then I went and like read a bunch of comments about it because like that cannot be. And it was mostly Tottenham fans saying like, yeah, I was at this game or that game or this game, and I saw him do it like 4 times, and I was like, how are they not calling this? So
this is a regular Sergio Aguero thing.
Yeah, like I wonder if somebody's been clued into it now that he oversteps or has bad technique. Either way, not great from him.
Well, the good news for Sergio Aguero is that Spurs still won 1-0 away to Crystal Palace thanks to a Harry Kane header.
Shocker.
And I've got thumbs up to Harry Kane for showing that man marking can also be bad.
Okay.
So like zonal marking always gets blamed if there's a goal conceded when a team's zonal marking. Crystal Palace man marked Harry Kane, right? Damien Delaney is on him. He is touching him the whole time. He is never, ever like even a millimetre away from him because he's got physical contact with him the whole time. Turns out that doesn't matter if you don't actually make a play on the ball. So Harry Kane just lets Damien Delaney like grab him, touch him all the time. And eventually Harry Kane just like, all right, but I'm just going to hop in the air and head this home, right?
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Because you can be so focused on tracking the runner, making sure
That's
you
what happens.
hold.
Delaney ends up turning around and looking at Kane
go.
and then turning back around. He loses track of the ball because he's so focused on Mr. Harry Kane. Little excuse for Damien Delaney is he'd only just come on.
Okay.
So James Tompkins, I think, got injured, the centre-back. So Delaney had to sub in like the 85th minute. And then he's got to try and mark Harry Kane on a corner. So you can kind of get why he wasn't quite as sharp as he should have been.
I just like to think that there was literalism there. That it was like he was told, "Don't let him go. Like
Yeah,
don't let him out of your sights. Don't let him go. Just stay with him." It's like I did it. I mean, he scored, but I was holding his jersey when he did.
I had real good tickets to the Harry Kane goal show.
Well, one player who maybe thought somebody was holding his jersey when he went down was Dele Alli. I'm just going to say thumbs down for diving because it seems like he tends to do that every now and then. He did it. Definitely did it again today.
I'm withholding judgment until he wins me a penalty in the World Cup for England.
All right.
Yeah.
I feel like you'll take it then. I feel like you'll excuse it and be like, "Oh no, it was terrible," but secretly be like,
no, I'll celebrate right here in the office
Yeah.
As I'm watching it happen. What else you got in the Premier League?
What else do I have? I have got thumbs down to Sadio Mane in Liverpool's 4-1 victory over West Ham.
Very dare you. What?
Because he did score a goal.
Yeah.
He did not mimic any goal celebration.
He didn't.
And I find that unacceptable.
This.
I was specifically watching to see if he would try. He did
So we
not.
got clued into this lately, right?
Yes.
That he follows behind whoever's celebrating and does not quite a mockery, but sort of a shadow copy of it.
Again, I think my buddy Trey summed it up as like the little brother trying to copy the big brother, but not quite understanding
but kind of laughing while
it.
he does it. It made me love Sadio Mane for that reason.
Oh, it's wonderful. So I was just like, is he going to do it? Is he going to do it? He did do it.
So I can't remember if you mentioned it, but Liverpool beat West Ham 4-1. I've got thumbs up to Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain for the first goal.
I knew you would.
Scored by Mohamed Salah for never laying down. So I think he sort of dribbles forward, and as he's getting knocked over, he still manages to play the pass through to Salah. But then he doesn't even lay on the floor. He like pops straight back up, and then he's ready to receive the ball again if Salah misses. Obviously, Mohamed Salah doesn't miss. He scores. So Ox's reward was that he got to be first to celebrate with Salah. But I really liked the like enthusiasm and positivity of Oxlade-Chamberlain playing the pass and carrying on even as he got knocked down.
Yes. I have two things to say about this. Number one is that I did not watch this game live. I watched the extended highlights after the Carling Cup today. I'm just going to call it the wrong name every time. The Carabao Cup. So they get their full due. And it really, like, that sequence...
Actually, the sponsorship it's ended the day after.
Yeah,
so I think it goes back to the EFL Cup tomorrow.
There we go. But that sequence stood out to me all the more because if you're an Arsenal fan, you just have to look at that and wonder. Because I remember at the time, he said he wanted to move so he could play more centrally, to get more opportunities, and we were all... You and I were both like, that's not going to happen. Like, what are you talking about? And here he is doing well and making moves in a Premier League match, yeah.
Every time I see him play, I'm thinking, oh, you could do this for England. I would enjoy that. Yeah. And again, the never laying down, they're like fighting all the way for that ball compared to Xhaka and co. For Arsenal today. It's a big difference.
And you can see the big difference in Liverpool. Just the way, like, the only team who I've seen do this so consistently is Barcelona. We'll talk about them later on.
It's high praise for Liverpool.
When Barcelona, every single goal, there wasn't a... like, oh yeah, whatever, we're up 6-1 or 5-1 or whatever at this point. It was always like a team celebration, lots of pointing, lots of credit being given. And you see that with Liverpool as well, that even when like Mo Salah dribbles through 8 people and scores, he still like goes and finds the person who passed him the ball and they all
Everyone
celebrate
feels part
together.
of it, right?
Yeah, and it just, you can see that chemistry.
I mean, Sadio Mane's like mirror celebration, I think, is part of that, right? It's like the Benjamin Mendy Shark team stuff.
It's
like an in-joke where we're all in this together.
Exactly. So again, a couple more pieces, and I have to believe that team is going to be a competitor to Man City next season.
So Liverpool 4, West Ham 1. I've got some other Premier League stuff for you. Are you ready? I've got thumbs down for English goalkeepers.
Yep.
So I'm not sure how much of this you've seen, but Jack Butland had an own goal for Stoke City in the 1-1 draw.
What I saw was the headline, Gareth Southgate admits that England goalkeeping situation is a problem, or something like that.
So here's the rundown. Jack Butland scores an own goal. It's a Mark Albrighton cross for Leicester. Vardy is kind of crashing the near post. And I think it puts Butland off, but it still ends up with Butland essentially just trying to gather the cross/shot in his chest, bounces off his arm, goes in. 100% Jack Butland own goal. Jordan Pickford, Everton lost 1-0 to Watford. He actually had a decent game, made a couple of good saves, but he had one moment where on a back pass he tried to just kick it clear and he hit Troy Deeney and ended up creating a chance for Watford. So just an absolute fluffed clearance. And then... that was in Everton's 1-0 loss to Watford. And then poor Joe Hart can't even get picked ahead of Adrian for West Ham. West Ham, again, lost 4-1, which included for Roberto Firmino's goal. Have you seen this? Adrian performing the worst slide tackle of all time. And then he missed Firmino, he missed the ball, he just slid straight past Firmino as Firmino dribbled in on goal.
Well, that's probably because Firmino was doing the no-look goal scoring. Did you notice that he did that? When he gets around him, he then recognizes that it's an open goal, and as he passes it in, does the no-look away.
Oh, no, that's the insult to insult. Adding insult to insult is what it is. So. But a reminder, Joe Hart is behind Adrian.
Not great. So, Fraser Forster?
I guess so, but he's not even starting for Southampton. He's second choice at Southampton.
So...
I guess me.
David Seaman?
I've got some gloves. Some gloves, yeah.
I've seen you play goal, my friend. Darryl Grove, terrific footballer. Maybe keep him at a goal.
But I am willing. So there's that.
Yeah, there's that.
I mean, some Sundays it's just about who's willing, right? Someone's got to be willing to do it. Yeah.
Or whoever drops to one knee last.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
One or the other.
Unless Drew shows up. Let's hope Drew shows up. I've got a couple more for you. Thumbs calmly backwards for Dwight Gale.
Okay.
Seen Dwight Gale's goals?
No.
So in Newcastle's 2-2 draw with Bournemouth, the first goal is Dwight Gale in the box. The ball bounces around a little bit and he finds that he's facing backwards, but the ball bounces behind him. Doesn't even look. Just swings his heel backwards. Scores. Dwight Gale scores for Newcastle. Lovely, lovely back heel. You don't see many back heel goals.
That's honestly what I was trying to remember.
Yeah.
The last one I saw.
I would encourage you to go see this.
You see a lot of terrible back heel attempts.
You certainly
Less
do.
so goals.
Quick thumbs up to the Alex Pritchard signing for Huddersfield. Do you remember I talked about this was like their record signing in January to try and turn things around?
Yep.
He once again had an assist to Mounier as Huddersfield beat West Brom 2-1.
Which is big.
So Huddersfield are really out of relegation trouble right now.
There you go.
Because of Alex Pritchard.
But it's big because, as I recall, they wanted 3 other people and ended up kind of just coming away with him and being like, okay, well, yeah, we'll see how that goes. And I think a lot of people had some question marks. So far, it seems like it's working.
I saw extended highlights. He was, as well as having the assist for the first goal, he was dribbling at West Brom defenders all day and really terrifying them. Also in this game, Danny Williams,
there he is,
played 90 minutes,
Attaboy.
Had a magnificent volley that was saved, but it still looked really good.
Get him on that plane to Cary, North Carolina? Maybe not.
We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
We'll talk about that later.
We can just say thumbs down right now.
My final Premier League thumbs up goes to...
I know where it's going.
Jose Izquierdo is, I believe, how you pronounce it. I double-checked on my page.
That came dangerously close to Jose is scared.
That's kind of what it sounds like.
Izquierdo?
Jose Izquierdo is a Colombian winger who's playing for Brighton Hove Albion. Thumbs up to him for being the hide-and-seek champion of 2018.
Yep.
So in Brighton's 4-1 win, who did they beat over Swansea? Brighton's 4-1 win over Swansea. He had an actual assist early on for Glenn Murray, so he's got a real assist on the cards. But he also has a kind of, I guess you call it the MLS assist on the final goal, which is scored by Jurgen Locadia. You can tell I'm looking at my notes here, right? But what he does is he dribbles.
I wasn't going to sell you out.
He dribbles to the end line, beats Federico Fernandez, cuts it back, not to Locadia, but to someone else, Stevens, I believe. And then what he does is, because he's right at the end line, he steps off the field and holds onto the side netting and just watches the rest of the play, hiding through the side netting. I think so as not to be in an offside position.
He's in a net case of emotion.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely seemed locked up there.
Or at least not to interfere with play. And there's something about it. It was one very clever, but also very cute. And not cute in the clever way, like cute in the puppy kind of way.
Yeah, just that he was hanging onto the net like, hey guys, can you score now?
It's like you'd a fan who just got onto the field to take a look.
But it is smart, because I do imagine that if you're just standing at that back post, if that shot comes in, there is that inclination to just make sure it goes in, maybe just have a touch, and then you're offside and you've ruined a goal.
Yeah, so here's the thing. I don't know if he could be ruled offside for stepping off the field, because I know defenders, if they step off the field, they're ruled to be in the last position they were in, basically, so you were still playing someone onside, but there's no rule about attackers.
I think only if he came back. I think it's one of those weird things where if he came back on, then he's still coming back on from an offside position.
But he also didn't walk off deliberately. It was like he, overran the ball, so he naturally went out of bounds and could have come back in, but instead he just hung on by the net to cheekily watch it.
But I think then the point would be that he's not interfering in play, so even if he is theoretically offside, he's still not factoring into anything. So
that's fair, okay.
So much. But if he came back on, then he would be.
Yeah, so either way, thumbs up to Jose Izquierdo, and Tyler can confirm I said that without looking at my notes.
I think you did, because I think you added another syllable in there, but it's fine.
Izquierdo. There you go. Izquierdo. I was a scaredo to say it.
That's good.
It is what happened. Before we go to the rest of the world...
Oh, why do I let you get away with the things that you're going to with?
Before we go to the rest of the world, today's show is sponsored by Blue Apron. Blue Apron is the leading meal kit delivery service in these here United States. It comes in a great big box full of food for you to cook.
Yep. I've just placed my order. It was, I can't remember what it was off the top of my head, but I can tell you that it was all stuff that I would never ordinarily cook, and I'm excited to experiment.
Based on the menu I'm looking at, it could be quick bucatini, which I believe is a pasta with broccoli and pecorino cheese. It could be Italian-style shrimp and sweet pepper. Either of those ring a bell?
The shrimp does.
Yeah, so you'll be eating Italian-style shrimp.
Mostly because I want specific instructions from Blue Apron on how to cook shrimp, because shrimp is one of those things that very quickly goes from undercooked to overcooked. So
you will get some very specific instructions on the nice card from Blue Apron. They'll tell you how to prepare it, how to cook it. You cannot go wrong.
Yeah, because
if you do, it's your fault, not Blue Apron.
My usual preparation of shrimp is either thaw out pre-cooked ones or cook them until they're rubber. Same thing for scallops as well.
Neither of those will be on the Blue Apron instructions.
That's good.
They'll tell you how to do it properly.
All right.
So I was thinking of uses for Blue Apron this weekend. Arsene Wenger, maybe?
Yep. Don't want to leave the house?
Yeah, if he's sort of doesn't want to see anybody, the Arsenal Fan TV guys are out, he maybe just wants to stay in. Blue Apron will work for him.
But he's French. He wants that, he doesn't just want to order pizza in. He wants, a little bit of deliciousness.
Yeah, he wants some good proper food delivered for him to cook. Or, flip side, Pep Guardiola.
Yeah.
If he wants to celebrate with the whole Man City team, they could order 10 boxes of Blue Apron.
I was going to say, you'd have to order a couple.
Yeah, order 10 boxes.
Sure.
You could feed the whole team.
Yeah, why not? Yes. So they could do that, but if our listeners would like to, Blue Apron is treating Total Soccer Show listeners to $30 off their first order if they visit blueapron.com/TSS.
So you can check out this week's menu and get your $30 off at blueapron.com/TSS. Do you know what Blue Apron is, Taylor?
A better way to cook.
It certainly is a better way to cook. Thank you to Blue Apron for sponsoring today's episode.
And thank you for so obviously setting me up on that one that I couldn't possibly have made the mistake. I appreciate that, Daryl.
It was like a Lukaku assist to Lingard. That's what it was.
Well, we're going to move away from England, but not too far, because I want to take us to the Scottish Premier League.
Oh, really?
Yes.
What are we going there for?
That's amazing that was your response to that. We are going to go there because I want to talk about Scott Brown and how amazing he is.
I saw his name in a headline. I don't know why. What did he do?
He got tackled several times. So it's basically him scrapping for a ball.
Plays for Celtic, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Against Aberdeen. Celtic won 2-0, I believe. Very much.
It's pronounced Aberdeen.
Oh, yeah. I apologize. See, there we go. Now you can correct my pronunciation. But he's basically scrapping for the ball, gets tackled. That seemed like it was a foul.
Yeah.
But he gets back up, gets like a high boot tackle from Cosgrove, who had just come on. Eight minutes into his Aberdeen debut, straight red card for that challenge. Then, as Scott Brown is laying on the ground, recovering from that one, the Aberdeen player comes through, not Cosgrove, a different player comes through and kicks the ball as hard as he can, and I think just barely misses Scott Brown, who rolls over and gets up and like flexes his muscles and then does this weird little and then he does like a little like Scottish jig as if to say like, you can't hurt me, you can tackle me all you want. And it was just such a like hilarious moment because he looks so menacing, but to see him do just this little like jig, it was wonderful. So I'm saying thumbs up to Scott Brown, both for toughness and for dancing ability.
Brilliant. I'm going to say thumbs up to... I'm going to take us to Germany, if it's okay with you, and say thumbs up to Aaron Johansson's off-the-bench impact.
All right.
So we were all worried about Aaron Johansson and his injuries, right? His hips. He came off the bench for Werder Bremen in what is called the Nord Derby. I believe it's just like two northern towns, Bremen and Hamburg. Aaron Johansson off the bench. 4 minutes later, ball is in the back of the net. 1-0 to Werder Bremen in the Nord Derby.
Get him on that plane?
Get him on that. Maybe. I think the March 27th friendly is not too soon. You could make an argument that he needs to recover and recuperate from injury, but I say it's been too long since he played for the US.
But he's like 30, Daryl.
Is he?
I don't know.
He's not even.
I'm just trying to infuriate you with that argument.
Tell me how old he is next World Cup. Yeah, I will come across this table and
he's 30 at the next World Cup. Gotcha.
As if that's a problem. As if that's a problem at the Logan's Run 2022 World Cup. They're not building a carousel.
You don't know.
And this actually, if you go looking for this, it is not listed as an Aaron Johansson goal. It is listed as a Rick van Drongelen own goal. But it is Aaron Johansson did all the work. It kind of it squeezed through the keeper's legs and then got put over the line by the Hamburg defender.
Unacceptable.
Do you want to hear about Bobby Wood in this game?
I don't think I do.
Came off the bench after 77 minutes, didn't score.
All right.
That's Bobby Wood in this game.
There you go.
Hamburg still in relegation trouble.
Yeah, and seems like they're going to stay there. But you never know. Maybe he'll catch fire or maybe he'll get a move in the summer.
Have you got anything else in Germany? Because I've got one more major thing that's been doing the rounds. Have you heard about the Duisburg goalkeeper?
No.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to say, I wish I showed you this before we started recording. Thumbs down to the reporting on the Duisburg goalkeeper story.
Okay. Talk us through it.
Okay, so Duisburg won 2-1 over Ingolstadt in the 2 Bundesliga, or the Zwei Bundesliga, second division. There is a goal where Mark Flecken, the Duisburg keeper, is in the back of his net drinking water, and Ingolstadt come through and score.
Uh-oh.
And he just turns around and is like, oh.
That's not good.
That's bad, right?
What's he doing?
So that was the question.
Hydration is important, don't get me wrong.
So this was like, one of those things that becomes like not a meme, but becomes a blog post that's on fire. Yeah. And just the footage of him conceding that goal goes everywhere. And everybody's saying, what's he doing? Just like checking out in the middle of a game and all that sort of stuff, right? And obviously, yes, you need to be aware all the time and not concede a goal. But what happened is Duisburg had just scored and the whole team was celebrating. Then the goal was ruled offside for interference at the far post. So while everybody was celebrating, Flecken went back to get a drink. Very quickly, as soon as the goal was ruled out, Ingolstadt took the goal quickly, went down the field, played it through the middle.
Quickly is a great word.
Yeah, it describes exactly what he did, right? So the Duisburg defenders were unaware as well, because they had to react kind of quickly to the Kickly. It's just that Flecken was kind of the...
I take it back, it's not a good word.
Flecken was the last to react. So when you see just the isolated 10-second play, it looks like everyone is switched on except him in goal. But it's really the whole team was switched off because they were celebrating a goal.
Yes.
So not an excuse, but I think it needs context.
Sure, that's fair. But it is still...
Everybody needs to get Fox Soccer Match Pass. That's how I was managed to watch the whole thing.
But it's still coming 120 yards down the field. How long was that drink? Because I can't imagine that in the time it would take you to go from maybe like top of your box all the way back to get a drink of water and then back out. That seems like it would be long enough to cover a team celebrating and then having a goal ruled out, and then play resuming, and then
it happened really fast because it wasn't like a video review or anything. It was like ruled out. Maybe it was a video review, but the word came through quickly. They were celebrating, and then the ball was on the floor, and then it was away again.
I just think he prioritizes hydration.
Also, have you tried opening a water bottle with big gloves on?
No, but that's interesting. I hadn't thought about that, but I would assume it's just like a little pop thing, right?
No, maybe use your teeth.
Yeah.
Okay, either way.
Do that.
So I don't want to fully excuse what Mark Flecken did, but I think it's worth adding the context around what happened to give the full story.
All right.
There we go.
Alrighty. We done with Germany?
Yes, because Christian Pulisic plays for
Monday.
Dortmund and they play Augsburg on Monday.
And that's the only reason why we would talk about the Bundesliga.
Weston McKennie is still not in action for Schalke.
You are not wrong. I'm going to take us to Italy then, where Roma at home lost to Milan 2-0.
Yep.
Goals from Patrick Coutino, who's a 20-year-old who's apparently the new... Go ahead.
Add him to the scouting network.
Yep. He's the new Inzaghi. And then the second goal came from Davide Calabria, 21-year-old right back, the new Maldini. It's what they were called at various points in this game.
Well, he's in the wrong position then.
Well, it was his first ever goal for Milan. Okay. But I thought it was interesting.
So George Bello is the new Maldini. So
that's also fair. But I just thought it was interesting because, first of all, thumbs up to both of them. But with all the spending that AC Milan did this summer, to see two basically academy players, they've both been with AC Milan for at least the last 3 years each, to see them come through and get the result, also a good thing, I would say, for fans of Italy who maybe don't have a lot to cheer for right now.
Not this summer. I would say I've got thumbs confused for Patrick Coutino because I saw that goal and I don't know if he knows what he's doing. The cross comes in, it kind of hits him in the leg and goes in, but he's not looking. And I can't tell if it's a no-look, clever misdirection or redirection, or if it just hits him and he gets lucky.
It does. I think he knows
the second one.
He knows what
that's
he's
why he's
doing.
the new Inzaghi.
Yeah, he's the poacher. I would say this might not make sense at first, but I would say he knows what he's doing, but not how he's doing it. He knows that ball is coming in. It is that Pippo Inzaghi predatory poacher instincts to I know that ball's coming in, I got to be in the right place. So he knows that he's making the smart run and he is in the right place. But I think, again, it's the Inzaghi, just get a body part to it and put it in the goal. And that's exactly what he does. I think it hits off his trailing leg, I think, or something like that. He definitely doesn't power it into the back of the net, but it still goes in. That's all that matters.
If anyone wants to scout Patrick Coutino, please, Cotrone, excuse me, is that how you pronounce it? Cotrone? Please
Coutone.
Let me. There's an R in it, isn't there?
Oh, there's Patrick Coutone, and then there's David Calabria.
I thought it was Patrick Cotrone.
No, maybe it's that too.
We'll look it up.
All right.
If you'd like to scout Patrick, email Darryl at Total Show and let me know. No.
Not so much?
No. The statue, right?
Yeah, the eternal statue?
The eternal statue.
Yes.
Is that all you've got from Italy?
Yes, it is. What else have you got?
Because the title race did not happen this weekend.
It did not.
Juve Atalanta was snowed off, I believe, and then Napoli do not play until Monday. So the Serie A title race was temporarily suspended.
And I can now confirm it's Cutrone, so I apologize.
There you go.
It's hangover brain.
There you go. Okay, I'm going to move us to La Liga. I'm going to say thumbs up to Cristiano Ronaldo, the goal scorer, because he is back. Ronaldo got 2 as Real Madrid beat Alaves 4-0.
Yep.
The first goal was one of those sort of somewhat instinctual Ronaldo in the box, turn and shoot moments. It was a vicious shot.
After a really nice little no-look backheel pass from Karim Benzema.
Yes, who had a good day from what I saw in the highlights.
I think he missed a very good chance, but then he scored a penalty. So it all bounces out. Since all of the BBC scored.
And Ronaldo scored a second one later on from a Vasquez assist as well. So it's good to see Ronaldo back in goal-scoring action because it felt weird to hear about him not being able to score in La Liga. Right?
Yes, I do have a question for Madrid fans because when they score, they being Madrid, they celebrate a little bit. It seemed like Asensio and Ronaldo have a good connection where when he did a celebration, it was a big hug. But none of them ever react too strongly, it seems, to the goals. That even when it was 2-0 or 3-0.
Any of the goals?
Not really. It's they hug, don't get me wrong. But you compare it to what we were talking about with Barcelona and Liverpool, where it's a lot of pointing and a lot of hugging and laughing and joking. Madrid seem much more business-like and okay, we've job done, let's move on. And I'm wondering if that's
because they're not rolling, right? Barcelona are rolling right now.
You think that's
Liverpool
what it
are
is?
rolling right now. Madrid have been sort of stuttering stop-start, and I feel like you just don't have that sort of relaxation and freedom. It's more a relief when you score as opposed to, we do this all the time.
But then if it was relief, it would be relief, right? You would see that in the celebration. That everybody would be like, yay, we're not going to lose this game or draw this game. More points. So I just wonder if it is, you may be very well be right.
Yeah, I forgot you asked Madrid fans not to.
But I am just curious if that is kind of a consistent thing where there's not a lot of over-celebration. And I know there's been stuff in the past where Ronaldo tries not to celebrate with the teammates if they score because he doesn't want attention
That was
to be
more
on
for
him.
Portugal, right? Where his teammates are less famous than they are.
That could be. So, but I am just curious because it's something that always stands out to me. But I don't think it's because there's drama in the locker room, and I don't want to spin it that way. But I just see like I think we had a conversation before about for Ronaldo's second that Gareth Bale like almost looks annoyed at the back post. Like just his body language is very like
Ronaldo had almost just tackled him.
There is that, but I just don't know if that's just kind of how they go about scoring goals. That it's like, yeah, we did it. It's what we do. Job done. So I'm curious to hear from Madrid fans or anybody who watches La Liga regularly.
Taylor at TotalSoccerShow.com. I'm
or
going to
on
move
Twitter.
us.
Yeah, that's fine too. At Total Soccer Show.
All right, I'm going to move us to Barcelona,
sure.
Where they beat Girona 6-1. I'm going to say thumbs down to Girona for poking the bear.
There it is.
They scored
I have that one in my notes too.
They scored first at the Camp Nou, and I think Barcelona was sort of like, oh, really? Oh, really?
And the 6 Girona fans in the stadium celebrated. The camera was desperately trying to find Girona fans. They found a couple.
They need that producer who did the Gary Neville game for the Carabao
They
Cup.
did not cut back to them as the goals poured in. I'll say that much.
So a quick summary of some of the goals. Really good goals in this game.
Everyone scored?
I'm going to say thumbs to Messi that look like they're getting farther away, but are actually getting more dangerous. Have you seen this goal?
Yes, of course. How do people not know this is coming? It's like the Robin for me, where it's like he dribbles to one side, then he brings it back and brings it back and brings it back. We've seen that goal so many times from Leo Messi, where it's just like, oh, now he's going to shoot. Oh, now he's going to shoot. Oh, now he's going to shoot. And then he still doesn't shoot, and then he does it. It's a goal.
And I think Girona defenders think, I mean, there's a lot of them, right? There must be 3 or 4 of them trying to chase him away. They think they're pushing him farther away from goal, but really he's just lining it up ready to shoot.
Yeah. And if anything, like letting him do that actually really hurts the goalkeeper because like basically he can't...
He's very screened.
Yeah, and he also can't cover either side because by the time Messi shoots that, it could go back across to the near post or it could go to the far post because he's now shooting from the center of the maybe from 8 yards out.
Yep.
And it's really difficult to read that one, especially with a bunch of defenders in front of you.
To make his day even more impressive, Leo Messi scored a goal under the wall, a free kick under the wall into the bottom corner. That was clever.
Okay, here's my question for you on that one.
Yeah.
The commentators, I can't remember if it was Ray Hudson or the other one who said this because it wasn't
Phil Shane?
It wasn't Phil Shane. It was somebody else. Unless Phil Shane has dramatically changed his voice. Could be. They said you can never blame the wall for that one.
He's in hiding, so he's using like a voice disguise box for his commentary.
It's a scream situation. My question, though, is that he says you can never blame the wall for jumping in that situation. But can't you? Can't you as the wall say, we're definitely not jumping, we're going to make it, especially from how close that was? It's still a relatively easy one to get up and down. It's not like it was right at the top of the box. But I still think...
I think it's a Messi problem, right? Messi is very regularly bends a ball up and over the wall, so it makes you want to jump.
Yeah.
So then when you jump, he puts it under. It's kind of one of those how do you solve a problem like Leo Messi things.
I still think you'd never jump. I think because,
I feel that way too.
Because as soon as you've made it clear that you jump, somebody like Leo Messi, who's going to be reading that game, Luis Suarez as well, I imagine would be right on that one of like, oh, they jumped that last time, they're jumping again, put it underneath.
Maybe what you need to do is jump, but have one guy who stays lying down on the floor.
Perfect.
Yeah?
Haven't teams done that before where they have one person literally lying behind the wall?
Like a draft excluder.
Yeah. I don't know what that is.
So if you got a door in your house,
it sounds like a draft dodger.
And there's a gap at the bottom of the door, and the draft comes in. You put like a long tube against it that stops the draft coming through.
What did you call that?
A draft excluder? What do you call it here in the United States?
That is such an English thing. I have no idea. Like a door spacer? I'm not sure, but there's no way we call it that. That's right up there with velocipede and go up box.
I guess we don't need it in Richmond, where it's been 70 degrees all week in February.
Well, there is that.
Yeah.
I love how much you've enjoyed that, by the way. I feel like I've heard you reference that like 4 times.
Because I keep thinking, if I was in England, it would just be cold and rainy.
Yep.
I keep, I call home every couple of days, talk to my parents. They're like, how's the weather? And I'm like, 70 degrees and sunny. And they're sort of like, it's not that here.
My wife has a friend from Boston who occasionally doesn't enjoy Richmond because it's not Boston. And yesterday I was reminding her, like, what's it like in Boston right now? She's like, oh, there's still snow on the ground as we're all wearing shorts sitting outside.
So much like Barcelona, we're not done with Girona.
Yeah.
I'm not done with this game.
That's fine.
Because I've got thumbs up to Philippe Coutino for finally scoring a very Coutinho goal for Barcelona against Girona. He sort of ends up dribbling in a little circle. Again, very Coutinho, away from goal. Yep. Then he bends it nastily up and around and into the top corner. So that's impressive that he's doing the Coutinho thing. But arguably more impressive is that he gets involved in one of those very Barcelona goals.
Yeah, he does.
You've seen this, right? Yep. It's quick, clever, Leo Messi sneaky pass to Coutinho, who squares it to Suarez, and suddenly that looks like a front three, right, of Messi, Coutinho, and Suarez.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, it really was, and you could see it coming, and even with that, you just knew there was no defending against it because it's those quick passing, and you've always got somebody popping up and open. And
I've got a 3-letter initialism for them.
Oh, no.
CMS. Coutinho, Messi, Suarez, and anyone who has worked in web publishing will know that's a content management system.
Or Chicago Manual of Style.
Or Chicago
Either one.
Manual of Style.
Yeah. I do love that Coutinho goal.
So no serial commas for CMS.
Yeah, no. I really enjoyed the Coutinho goal, going back to that one for just a second, because to your point...
It's a niche joke. Someone will get it.
Hey, man. That's what we're all about over here. Nerd jokes and dad jokes.
Hey, this is Daryl here, cutting in with a quick edit and correction. I just realised while editing that the Chicago Manual of Style does dictate serial commas in a list. So it would actually be, Coutinho, comma, Messi, comma, and Suarez. And just in case anyone cared, I am AP Style for life.
That's what we do. I love the Coutinho goal because, as you said, he hasn't really found that scoring form yet, and it just felt like, oh right, this is what I used to do. I've seen him score that goal 5 times for Liverpool. Just that dribbling away, pulls it back, gets a shot that has no business going in but somehow goes in. I've seen him do that many times while weering red. So when I saw him do it for Barcelona, I was like, oh yeah, that sounds about right. And
it's also funny, Valverde getting all his new pieces on the table, right? So it was the way I understood it was Coutinho was on the left, Dembele was on the right, and then Suarez and Messi were up front. Coutinho was kind of doing the Andres Iniesta thing, which is an interesting...
Interesting. I was wondering what that final word was going to be.
I was hoping you'd help me out.
I got other. I was too busy thinking about how much I enjoy that Luis Suarez, as you said, they all hug each other after that goal, Coutinho and Messi. But I didn't realize that Coutinho was also not particularly tall, and so it looked like Luis Suarez was celebrating with his children, because they're both a good 8 inches shorter than
Suarez
him.
Temporarily looked like Nemanja Matic.
A little bit. He was I think literally one head taller than them. So there you go.
Do you have anything? I've got a couple of American things.
Go ahead.
You got anything else from the rest of the world? I've got thumbs down to ticket prices being up.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
For the USA versus Paraguay friendly, which is March 27th in Cary, North Carolina. Tickets just went on sale, and we found out that the cheapest ticket was, emphasis on the was, put it in italics in your head, was $52, which is outrageous for a friendly for a team that isn't doing very well. Those are now gone, so the cheapest ticket right now is $95.
That's insane.
For USA versus Paraguay in the March friendly in the build-up to the World Cup that we're not going to.
It makes no sense, and it seems very tone deaf. And because if you're Carlos Cordero coming in, it seems like maybe that's an easy.
This
bit
may
of PR.
predate him, right? This may have already been set. The whole deal was set up before Cordero won the election.
He's still the president. You could still find ways to subsidize ticket prices just to make it look, we know we're trying to get more people involved. We want everybody interested, and because they haven't, it's a very worrying sign to me that things are just going to be more of the same, because if you don't recognize that people are already really frustrated with this team, aren't particularly motivated to go, and you're instead going to charge them an insane amount of money, why would you expect people to turn up?
Have you seen the graph from one of the US soccer meetings from the past 6 months where it shows the revenue from US national team games? I think it's specifically US men's national team games. And they're very proudly presenting it as revenue is up because average ticket prices are up over the last 10 years or so. And there's a real spike. It is not in line with inflation, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
There's a real spike in the average price of US men's national team ticket prices.
Going to SeatGeek right now, cheapest available ticket after fees is $93. So
for the March 27th friendly, and if you go direct through US Soccer website, it's $95.
And up to,
so at least you save $2 at SeatGeek.
Up to $500. I'm sure those are the
and you could get the $20 rebate, so you can get it down to 70 something with SeatGeek. But if you go just straight to the source, it's 90 something.
And on top of that, again, it's a Tuesday night, and so I've seen some people who are like
no, it's Saturday, isn't it?
No, it's Tuesday night.
Is it really?
It is Tuesday night. Yep. Ooh. And so I've seen some people saying I live 15 minutes away and I'm not going because I would really love to go, but it's that expensive on a weeknight. Nope, I'm good.
There's also, I don't want to get too conspiracy theory-ish, but there's a slightly odd element where the US Board of Directors member...
No, this is not conspiracy theory-ish. It's a conspiracy theory when it's we never landed on the moon, or there's a secret space station on the moon. This is connecting dots.
Which one? Those both can't be true.
They're not. That's the thing. But... Wait, we did land on the moon. Just putting it out there. But
there's no secret space station.
I don't think so.
Got it.
We don't know what's happening on the dark side of the moon.
But US Soccer is looking into playing a game there.
You never know. You never know. It's equally accessible at this point. But I think when you connect the dots that are very reasonably able to be connected, if that makes any sense. I think that's what you've done.
All right, so here's the dots.
But I'll add allegedly, because why not?
Okay, so Stephen Malik is on the US Soccer Federation Board of Directors.
Okay, that is not allegedly.
Stephen Malik is the owner of North Carolina FC and North Carolina Courage.
Still not allegedly.
USL and NWSL teams.
Yep.
North Carolina FC used to be an NASL team, and Malik was kind of the representation for NASL on the US Soccer Board. Then he switched to USL and sort of put in a bid, an expansion franchise bid, to try and get North Carolina to Major League Soccer. I've heard many times that a lot of US soccer friendlies are not located where it looks like being the best place to locate a game, not best for the fans, not best for the players, but maybe best for some people who are in good with US soccer. I'm not implying any bribery or anything really bad like that, but more just like the games go to friends of the federation or board members, right? Board of director members, like Stephen Malik. There is no reason to have a game in a 10,000-seater stadium in North Carolina and charge this much.
I mean, the only thing I can think of is just that it's a place that doesn't usually get a national team game. And so I imagine it's roughly the equivalent of being like, we'll do one in Richmond. They've done that before, but we'll have one in Richmond. For a while. Because that's true, because they're not going to get many games there. They're not going to get many national team games, that is. So more people will go regardless of ticket price. And that's what I think they've probably done, is they thought, we've been having trouble selling tickets. We've only been getting 8,000, 9,000 to a game. So we will hold it in a stadium that only seats 10,000. We'll jack up the prices because fewer people will be able to go to games in the future. So let's have it now.
I actually think these prices are in line with recent prices, which have always been way too much.
Yeah.
But now they're thinking that we can only sell 10,000, so let's do it at a 10,000-seat stadium. And it happens to be a board director as well, so that'll help. Because worth pointing out as well, I know Stephen Malik and North Carolina FC don't own the stadium. The county or the city owns the stadium, but they're producing the game in conjunction with each other, which means they'll definitely see some of the profits.
And I think what I would go to there is just that any team, because that will be, I think either preseason will have just ended or regular season is just beginning around then for
the NWSL?
Yeah, and for North Carolina FC. So,
of course,
and
right.
so with that in mind, or is it the Carolina Railhawks? I forget what they are now.
It's North Carolina FC.
But either way, then you would have to worry about the field being destroyed by a friendly. So I would assume there would be compensation there for use of the field.
Oh, maybe.
So I think either way, there will definitely be some money going into their coffers.
So I'm not happy about that.
Nope.
Mostly because I think stadium venues and ticket prices should be chosen according to what's best for the team, what's best for the fans. And then I really would love a future where US Soccer gets revenue from other places like commercial sponsors, and tickets are affordable so that it's like a pleasure to go and you don't have to worry too much about paying over the odds to go and watch a friendly against Paraguay.
Yeah.
Fair?
Because I think I'm curious to see if this is true. I need to do more reading on it. I've seen multiple people reporting that Carlos Cordero has publicly stated at various points that he wants to triple U.S. Soccer's revenue because he wants to be able to have more money.
We assume through commercial partners, though, right?
That's what we assumed, but now my concern is maybe it's just across the board that everything's going to be more expensive.
I'm not willing to lay the blame for this on him because I really do think it predates him winning the election, which was only, 3 weeks ago or so, right? So maybe the next one will be on him.
We'll see. Yeah. I mean, okay. Yes, I just still have concerns is all I'm saying. That if that's the way we're going, that doesn't seem like it's going to get more people involved and more people excited about U.S. soccer. If anything, it will do quite the opposite, especially because I think for those She Believes games, you could see a team that's very competitive that could potentially win the World Cup again. I think the most expensive ticket you could get was $45. So I'm just saying, there's some disparity here that I think probably needs to be addressed sooner rather than later.
Speaking of, so I took a look at the She Believes roster has been announced. I'm going to say thumbs up for the inclusion on the US Women's National Team She Believes Cup roster of Tiana Davidson. She made the She Believes Cup roster. We were really impressed when we saw her play in the friendly against Denmark, right? She looks like the Rio Ferdinand of US soccer.
As always, Daryl keeps it going. Michael Byte scouting Tierney Davidson, 19-year-old American center back for Stanford. After a good debut in January with the women's senior national team, Tierney Davidson has been called up for the 2018 She Believes Cup. She got a surprise start against Denmark, then had a good run at the 2018 CONCACAF Women's U20 Championship, including a goal in the final.
Yep.
If she gets another chance to play in the Cup, I would recommend that fans keep an eye out for her skill at passing out of the back and as a target on set pieces during attack. So thank you to Michael for that scouting report.
There we go. And as Winnie DeWall informed us on Twitter, Becky Sauerbrunn injured, so won't be involved. So there's a really good chance for Tiana Davidson to, establish, probably alongside Dahlkamper. I assume they'll be the starting centre-backs. Quick look at the rest of the roster. Won't read it all out, but Julie Ertz, this is a midfielder. That's just happening now, right? It's going to be 4-3-3 with Ertz as a central defensive midfielder. Expect slide tackles and then nice passes going forward. And then we can still have that front three that I think we're all in favour of. Rapinoe on the left, Alex Morgan central, Mallory Pugh on the right.
I'm down for that.
That looks like working.
Yeah. I enjoy all of those things.
So here are your games. Thursday, March 1st against Germany. Sunday, March 4th against France. And then Wednesday, March 7th against England, who are still inexplicably coached by Mr. Philip Neville. So those are your 3 US Women's National Team games coming up. Can I commit us, Taylor, to watching and reviewing those games on TSS?
Yeah, I'm down for that. Okay. I'm down for that. Do you have anything else to say before we move to scouting?
I've gone through all my thumbs. I was ready to sacrifice some if we went long, but we've been chatting and they've all gone.
Well, I've got one more for you.
Yeah.
Thumbs up to Bastian Schweinsteiger and Anna Ivanovic. Grant Wall pointed this out. They had their baby this past weekend. She is a professional tennis player, previously ranked number 1 in the world.
Yep.
He is Bastian Schweinsteiger. They had their baby in Chicago. That baby is U.S. Men's National Team eligible.
Yeah.
I think it's a boy. If not, then it's U.S. Women's National Team eligible. Either way, that baby can represent the United States.
But not this March. We'll have to wait a bit.
They're very good, Daryl. I don't know.
Let's close today's show with a look at some young Americans and other players in the Total Soccer Show Scouting Network. Where would you like to start, Tyler?
I would like to start with Michael Curry, scouting Haji Wright, the 19-year-old American striker on loan at Sandhausen from Schalke. Haji came on in the 61st minute of Sandhausen's 2-1 loss to Union Berlin.
This is in the second Bundesliga?
He's now gotten minutes in 2 straight games, which isn't that great until you remember that he basically had a 2-month spell either on the bench or not getting any looks at all.
Okay, so good stuff from Haji Wright.
Ish.
Michael Lazar is scouting Jordan Morris. I know how this is going to go.
Bad stuff.
The 23-year-old American forward for the Seattle Sounders. Michael says, in absolutely terrible news, Jordan Morris appears to have torn his ACL in Seattle's CONCACAF Champions League game this week. Testing will be completed on Monday, but if true, Morris is likely to miss the entire season, which would be a major setback for the third-year pro.
Indeed. And it seems...
I don't have much more to say about that.
I think it's already been confirmed by Taylor Twellman as well, so he's always pretty knowledgeable when it comes to MLS things.
He knows it even before the doctors know it.
He does. Somehow. He's in there. He's in there. James Jones. He does a Jay Leno and hides in the closet. James Jones scouting Andrew Carlton, 17-year-old American midfielder for Atlanta United. I'm going to stop referencing that Jay Leno's anecdote because I feel like no one has any idea what I'm talking about. But the story is that
I glaze over.
He hid in the closet of a boardroom when the NBC execs were talking about what they wanted from a Tonight Show host, something like that. So basically then he knew how to answer all the questions perfectly when he got the show instead of Letterman.
I never liked his show.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's
actually,
very fair.
Weirdly, on my first ever trip to the United States, within a week of being here, I went to a live taping of the Jay Leno show.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, the Tonight Show, Jay Leno, yeah.
Yeah. How was that?
Not great. Did not enjoy it.
All right. Well, we tend to get that one out of the way. Team Coco. James Jones, scouting Andrew Carlton, 17-year-old American midfielder for Atlanta United. Andrew went the full 90 in Atlanta's final preseason game against the Charleston Battery. In the 6th minute, he put in a lovely backheel flick to create a chance and probably should have had an assist off a 40-yard outside of the foot pass to John Gallagher that bypassed 4 or 5 Charleston players.
Have you seen these highlights?
I have.
The backheel flick is kind of just... It's impressive in the moment, but I don't think it's a great sort of...
I think, yeah.
It doesn't create a clear chance, but it's kind of good improv. Put it that way.
Yeah, I think James's point was the audacity to just think all right, I'll do that. Yep. Why not? And from a 17-year-old. That's impressive. But that ball especially.
That ball is fire, as the kids say.
There we go. Look at you staying young.
Or that ball had eyes, as the old people say.
Correct. After the match, this part will make you very happy. Tata Martino commented to the effect that Carlton was closer to the first team than Atlanta United 2, so James expects to see him in the 18 more often than not early in the season.
Yes.
That'll work.
Love it. Love it. I'm looking forward to MLS. The more kids play, the better. Michael Heitman is scouting Junior Flores, the 21-year-old American attacker for Dortmund 2. Michael says, after playing in a few winter break friendlies, Flores hasn't got any playing time for the Dortmund 2 team, let alone the senior team. Michael has requested a new scoutee, but will keep an eye on Flores in case anything changes. Michael, you're on their list for Monday. I'm doing scouting assignments Monday, and you'll get your new player. You've been very patient with Junior Flores, and we appreciate it.
And Michael, as always, wrote the typical Junior Flores scouting report and really was just like, here are the reports to come. And it's basically what it always is. It's like, might get minutes, probably won't. Will be linked for the move to El Salvador, or switch to El Salvador.
Or MLS, right? He keeps being linked with MLS and then never goes.
Yeah. So I think Michael, well-deserved change of scout. Colin Marshall scouting Conrad de la Fuente, the 16-year-old American for Barcelona Juvenile B.
Juvenil.
Well,
what?
This is somber news, potentially.
Is it?
It's a little bit nerve-wracking. Conrad was called up to the Catalan U18 squad over the weekend. Per Wikipedia, Catalonia is not affiliated with FIFA and can't participate in FIFA or UEFA competitions. This is true.
As we all know, it's not an official nation at this point.
However, Wikipedia also says that members of the Catalan national team are full Spanish citizens who are eligible to play for Spain by default. So, while him playing for Catalonia does not necessarily affect his ability to play for the United States, it does indicate that he is potentially eligible to play for Spain as well.
Okay. That's not too worrying because Catalunya, as I will call them, they don't have as many players to choose from, right? So that's why he ends up getting that call, especially if he's already located in Barcelona. It's much easier to put him on that U18 national team. And if you were picking a U18 Catalunya team, you would look at La Masia. That would be the place to go, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But it doesn't mean that the Spanish national team is after him. It just means that he was available for U18 duty and was in the right place at the right time.
Yes, but it still means it's a possibility.
It's good experience, if nothing else, right? Because Catalonia is not a FIFA nation, it's actually good for us in a way because it means he gets some international experience without risking his eligibility for the United States.
Get him on that plane. There should be some tournament like in an off year just called like the Captai tournament, and you can just call up a bunch of young players. It's an official FIFA tournament, and you just get to
FIFA make it more A matches.
Yeah. The roster can be 46 players. You can fill them in as you want.
Speaking of dual nationals, Todd Brannan is scouting Cameron Carter-Vickers, the Cameron Carter-Vickers, CCV, 21-year-old American centre-back who is now on loan at Ipswich Town from Tottenham Hotspur.
I don't see no dual national in there. I see American, so there we go.
Todd says Ipswich Town have played 34 matches in the Championship this season. In the 27 league matches prior to CCV's arrival, Ipswich gave up 2 or more goals in over 48% of their games.
Statistics.
Since CCV's arrival, Ipswich haven't conceded 2 or more goals in a single game.
That'll work.
4 of the 7 games had CCV playing centrally in a 4-man defensive formation, and the last 3 have seen him played on the right in a 3-man back line. A trend to keep an eye on. I'll be honest, every time I watch Ipswich, I can't help watching Mick McCarthy.
That's fair.
Just because he's the best.
Do you kind of miss him a little bit?
Yeah, every day.
Even though you love Nuno?
I want Nuno managing Wolves, despite this weekend's result.
You want Mick McCarthy managing
But I want
England?
Mick McCarthy doing the press conferences.
Okay, that's fair.
I just want him to be able to speak. He should be a Wolves ambassador. He can just speak on behalf.
Gareth Southgate or Mick McCarthy?
As England manager?
Yeah.
Gareth Southgate.
That's what I figured.
Right now. Yeah.
I knew you wouldn't want to say that. Well, speaking of potential future England national team players, Ryan Marzok scouting Josh Onoma, the 20-year-old English midfielder on loan at Aston Villa from Tottenham. It's not great. After two more lackluster performances in the attack, fans are calling for Josh Onoma to be dropped from the starting 11. Ryan says it sounds like there's a lot of frustration with his lack of productivity, specifically the fact that he hasn't scored any goals in 2018.
It's a holding midfielder. What do you want?
I don't know. People want things. But some people still back the youngster and aren't blaming things entirely upon him.
I feel like Ryan's like a gossip collector from
basically
from Birmingham. Yeah.
That's fine with me. I got no problem with that.
Here's what Aston Villa fans are saying on the internet. So Ryan is also scouting Pione Sisto, the 22-year-old Danish winger for Celta Vigo. Pione Asisto, as Ryan calls him, his form has fallen off slightly. He has not recorded a goal or an assist in his last 5 appearances. The bar was set kind of high, to be fair.
Slightly.
Sisto's pace continues to be a problem for La Liga defences, and he's currently tied with Leo Messi for most fouls drawn per game. He's got a busy week ahead of him with matches against Eibar and Girona. He'll probably score against Girona.
Still licking their wounds, I would say. John Barnett scouting Oleksandr Zinchenko. Oleksandr. There we go.
Don't you mean Kevin De Bruyne?
I do not.
Have you seen that story?
No, what?
Oh, so I'm making sure that's not in the scout report. Okay.
No.
So Oleksandr Zinchenko.
I like that you're paranoid now.
So he looks a bit like De Bruyne, right? He's got the blonde hair. He says that Man City
Kevin De Bruyne
fans...
doesn't have blonde hair, though, does he?
Yeah, or light hair. Let's say light hair.
I'm going to say strawberry blonde, but sure.
Okay, so Zinchenko keeps getting called over for a photo, and fans are like, oh...
Oh, you're not Kevin De Bruyne? Yeah. Oh, that's harsh.
He says it's kind of funny, but it's also slightly heartbreaking.
Yeah. That checks out. Zinchenko, the 21-year-old Ukrainian defender / midfielder for Manchester City. Oleksandr is beginning to establish himself within the City first team, primarily because of injuries to Benjamin Mendy and Fabian Delph. He's been getting minutes in the Premier League and the League Cup, and it sounds like City have opened talks regarding a new contract for the Ukrainian.
All right, go Zinchenko. Mm-hmm. Oh, I forgot to say, thumbs up in the League Cup final. Mm-hmm. For Guardiola bringing Phil Foden off the bench. And so it's not the 87th minute, but whatever. We got him on the field at Wembley. Now he's got a medal. He's only 17. Now he's got a cup winner's medal.
And I forget who he replaced, but it was one of the old guard. So there was a lot of symbolism there.
Caroline Ikari is scouting Kellen Acosta, the 22-year-old American midfielder for FC Dallas. Kellen Acosta is out for 6 to 8 weeks, Carolyn tells us, after undergoing surgery to repair a sports hernia. Oh, I know what that is. That kind of pokes out, right? Which is not really a hernia, but a very bad groin pull. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. One nickname for sports hernia is a slapshot gut, as in the wind-up that a hockey player makes before taking a shot. Or, in this case, the wind-up a soccer player makes before scoring on a perfect free kick for a first international goal in a friendly against Ghana. Wistful sigh.
Indeed, Carolyn.
We share your wistful sigh, Carolyn.
We sure do. Yeah. Up next, Björn Radu. Apologies if I mispronounced that one. Scouting Enes Ünal, the 20-year-old Turkish striker at Villarreal.
The new Hakan Şükür.
Theoretically.
That's how he was introduced to the world.
Enes started in the home leg of the Europa League tie with Olympique Lyon. He played the whole game, had several chances, but was unable to convert as Villarreal were knocked out of the Europa League.
Oh, I was looking forward to watching Enes Ünal now he was back in the Europa League.
Were you?
Yeah.
Were you really?
Because I was all about him, because he signed for Man City when he was sort of 17 or something, and big things were expected.
He was one of those.
Yeah. Villarreal, I checked on this actually, Villarreal are 5th in the Liga, so there is a bit of a fight at the end of the season for them to get in the Champions League spots.
There you go.
Yeah. Go on, Ennis. Keith Kalmbach is scouting Federico Valverde, the 19-year-old Uruguayan midfielder, on loan at Deportivo La Coruña from Real Madrid. Mm-hmm. Keith says the Uruguayan Xavi, that's bold, was substituted in the 17th minute of a 1-0 loss to Real Betis with a knee injury that isn't season-ending as far as Keith can tell. He also adds that it seems like Valverde is not quite ready to be a starter in La Liga and thinks a loan to a lower division club might help further his development next season. Oh, I expected more of Swervy Valverde.
Yes, I was going to say, because of that report, I took out the Swervy from his nickname. I feel like maybe that's part of the problem. When you get Swervy in there, it gives you ideas.
Yeah.
So I think you got to
swerve on down to the Segunda.
Indeed. Guy Jedwab scouting Serge Gnabry, the 22-year-old German wingback on loan at Hoffenheim from Bayern Munich. Gnabry has now played as a wingback for Hoffenheim in his last 3 appearances, keeping Czech international Pavel Kaderbach on the bench. Hoffenheim manager Julian Nagelsmann says the switch came about because, quote, he's not a merciless killer in front of goal. That's a good thing. He's a mixture of a taker and a maker who can start moves, so it's ideal not having him right up front, end quote.
Mint Romney would like him.
Yeah.
He's a taker and a maker.
There you go. Nerd. Meanwhile, the decision has led to speculation that Gnabry's versatility might land him a World Cup squad berth as Joshua Kimmich's understudy at right back.
Fair enough. I'd love to see Gnabry in the World Cup. I feel like we've really followed Serge Gnabry's career because of the regular reports from Guy.
Yeah, I think the idea being that if Germany are playing somebody who's bunkered, maybe you want a bit more of an attacking player in there. Not that Joshua Kimmich is not, but
he can do it all.
It's more options, yeah.
Dave Pincus is scouting Bartosz Kapustka, whose name is fun to say, and he's also a 21-year-old Polish winger on loan at Freiburg from Leicester City.
He's ruining things for me, Daryl. He's ruining things.
Dave says the Bartman has only made 4 appearances for Freiburg this year. Injuries, poor defensive ability, and illness. We can fix one of those things, right?
Yeah.
Have been cited for his lack of playing time. He currently has 1 goal and no assists, making Taylor's Bundesliga prediction of 5-5 not very likely. 5 goals, 5 assists.
I believe that's what I predicted.
Oh dear.
Get it together, Bartosz.
I'm
going to keep my spectacular record of going like 1 for 20 in terms of preseason predictions going.
Well, we'll have preseason predictions this week, right? We're going to do Major League Soccer Eastern Conference, very specific predictions on Tuesday. Major League Soccer Western Conference, very specific predictions, on Wednesday. And then Thursday or Friday, we're planning a Major League Soccer terminology special.
Yep.
So I'm going to put a link in the show notes. We'll promote this on Twitter as well. If you've got a Major League Soccer term that you want explained, because there's so many weird rules and regulations, we're going to dedicate one whole show to doing it. Mm-hmm. You'll know what GAM is, what TAM is, what an international roster spot is, what a DP is, all those things.
What is a Breck Shea? Are we finally going to figure that one out?
What is a Breck Shea?
Yeah.
I think it's when Great Britain leaves the European Union. So send us... that
was just a human art installation, but okay. I like yours better.
I'll put a link in the show notes where you can send us your requests for Major League Soccer terms that you want explained. Please don't ask for Breck Shea.
Do you think if Breck Shea and Tilda Swinton had a conversation, it would just make sense to no one except for the two of them? Because I feel like yes is the answer.
I've got a couple more quick updates since we're going along anyway.
Do you want to keep having this conversation?
I
do
not.
All right.
Keaton Parks scored for Benfica B. We're hoping for the full report. We normally get good reports on Keaton Parks, but he scored a really nice goal for Benfica B.
He scored a goal.
He's on the up. Yeah, it's a weird angle. I couldn't really tell. I was just hoping for the best. So keep an eye on that. I really would like a scouting report on who's the kid who signed for Real Madrid at a young age? Odegaard. Martin Odegaard. I know he's playing for Heerenveen, but we're not getting reports. Please, if you're the Odegaard scout, please send reports. Final bit of news. Hugh Roberts.
Yeah.
Since it's a thumbs up, thumb down show. Do you remember?
It seems fitting.
Last week, we were really excited that Hugh Roberts had finally signed with, we believe, the USL team, Pittsburgh Riverhounds SC. Bad news for Pittsburgh fans. He randomly appeared in an LAFC jersey unveiling today and was named as a squad member.
Yeah, I think he was one of the ones who hadn't gotten the hat treatment. I think there's like 5 or 6 players like that who were kind
of... Get Hugh Roberts a hat.
Yeah, that's fine with me. I think he'd be able to pull it off.
Yeah.
But I think there were 5 or 6 players
you have to get a very tall camera because he's another huge 6'4".
It's definitely true. You got to add a couple extra legs on it. But I think he was unannounced along with a couple other players who had been training, were on the roster. But it is weird because we did see him with Pittsburgh not too long ago.
So I'm going to say, LAFC fans, I think you've got a secret gem there in Hugh Roberts. Because again, this is the same thing we said last week. We watched Hugh Roberts play for 2 seasons for the Kickers. Yeah. We were convinced he could comfortably play in Major League Soccer. I think we'll get to find out maybe this year.
I think we will. And I think we may see him because they had a preseason friendly against Sacramento Republic. They won 1-0. But by all accounts, they do not look like a team that is very ready for the start of the season.
Uh-oh.
So I think they've still got some work to do.
That's a bit worrying.
To figure some things out. Well, I mean, Major League Soccer is not a league known for punishing you for a bad first half of the season.
That's true. You can definitely have one if you want to.
You sure can.
So more in our Major League Soccer previews on Tuesday and Wednesday. If you need your scout from the Total Soccer Show Scouting Network, I'm really on it at the moment, like getting people to sign their scouts. Email me if you're waiting, Darryl@TotalSoccerShow.com. All right, Taylor Rockwell, it's been a long show.
It has.
But thank you for taking the time to talk to me, even with a headache, this evening.
Right back at you, buddy.
Listeners, thank you for listening. I hope we didn't give you a headache. Hope you enjoyed it. And we'll talk to you again on Tuesday.